What if the one thing that's holding you back from your next level is not business, it's not a strategy or a sales script, but it's your capacity to truly love? Welcome to the Conquer Club podcast, the podcast for faith-driven entrepreneurs who are ready to align their message, master their mindset, and build a business that reflects both calling and cash flow. We're your hosts, Kevin and Tanya Stout, and we're here to help you rise into your next season with clarity, purpose, and a whole lot of God-given strategy.
Today's guest, well, she has flipped the script on success by helping entrepreneurs and singles unlock their destiny by getting their heart and their hustle in alignment. Author, mentor, and founder of Destiny Strategies, the Heart Spa, and the Transilience Podcast. Please help us welcome Dr. Amber Joy Daniels to the Conquer Club.
Woo-woo! Hello, Amber.
Hi.
Amber Joy Daniel, singular, correct?
Correct. One guy in the
Correct.
lion's den. It's okay.
Yeah, Daniel.
I'm an equal opportunities answerer to Daniel's surnames. Daniel.
Yes, Daniel.
I take them all.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Dr. Amber Joy, we met last year. Kevin and I met you a year and a half ago, I believe it was. And we met in a high-level master class, mastermind, actually. And we knew the first moment we sat at the table with you and we could feel your spirit, feel your joy, feel your light. You could see it inside of you. And your name literally exemplifies who you are. So we're just going to dig in right away, right out of the gate. Why do you believe that there are so many high-performing entrepreneurs who just feel stuck when it comes to love, legacy, and purpose, even if their business is booming?
A great question, and thanks so much for having me. Thanks for the question. This really comes down to the matters of the heart. This is a podcast for faith-filled entrepreneurs, and so I could go straight to our source, right? And that source tells us, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of the heart comes all the issues of life. And so David, the author of that piece of wisdom, also said, with my whole heart. He kept saying, with my whole heart, my heart and my flesh, my heart and my innermost being. David understood something very clearly that we don't always understand now, that everything in the heart must be aligned for certain outcomes to be aligned. And love, for example, is a high impact, high energy, high alignment outcome. Success is another one of them. So there are some things in our lives you can be successful. You can have it with sheer effort, determination, education. But there comes a point, if the heart alignment doesn't exist, that there comes a blockage. That we begin to feel stuck. I can't go further. And that's the answer there, that some things we can't press into if there isn't an alignment of the heart.
That is so well said. And gosh, Amber Joy, you are, your story is amazing. You've gone from news anchor to educator to counselor to pastor. And now Destiny Strategies working with singles and couples. What was the pivotal moment you conquered in your own life that launched you into this specific calling?
Yeah, and that was great question. That was exactly where I was, a single person at 36. I missed my opportunities to be married. I mean, there were gentlemen who came, beautiful gentlemen, high-ranking gentlemen. I wasn't ready. And then when I was ready and I was looking at other gentlemen who I thought were eligible, they weren't ready. And so that match was off. And then I came to the place where, no, I really want to get married because my biological clock is going tick, 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 tick. And I want a baby, right? In fact, I want more than one baby. And so now there's an impetus, despite success, to forge forward and prioritize this area. And let me just give a sidebar here. to the single ladies, especially single ladies of faith, who may be upper 30s, 40s, 50s. There can be a lot of substitution in faith circles. Well, you have Jesus, you have success in your career. You really need a relationship? You don't really need that. Why do you really need that? Because God said it is not good for man to be alone. Before man could have dominion over anything, he made a help meet for him. And so for her to have dominion and I'm probably really not talking to the ladies, but to the people who love them around them, who are giving them advice, that sounds like, you don't need that. You know how much trouble these men are. You don't want that. And then all your married friends, the advice that they want to give you is the last time they had a fight with their husband.
So true.
And permission to speak plainly. Then when they make up and they're having sweet love in the middle of the night and you're reading a book, they don't tell you about those nights.
Yeah.
And that is not
Right.
fair. God wants all of it for you. He wants all of it for the single woman. And so I was coming up against all of these experiences, but I really, really thank God for the family that I grew up in. A mother and father who loved me and who did not want substitution for me. And they encouraged me, yes, to do some things that were unconventional. And living in the Caribbean, it was very taboo to go online to find love, because after all, only murderers, non-Christians, and really evil people need to find love online. Like, if you're a good person, you will find love like right where you are. And there I was. And
That's it.
I thought I was a good person, and love did not find me where I was. And then if I compare where I was to where God wanted to place me, I'm so happy that love didn't find me where I was, because God had so much more. And so love met me where I was, but brought me to where God wanted me to be. A whole different continent, a whole different country. And had I stayed where I was, there would be no destiny strategists. There would be no scores of weddings that we've had since then. The assignment and everything took off when I accepted the request from heaven to help other singles navigate that path. And it's a very unique path. The verbiage when you are in that successful single woman of faith, power woman, is a little different from other categories. Not so successful, not woman of faith, not power personality. You're a little easier to approach the gentleman. I mean, like my husband and I are in awe of Kevin Stout's testicular fortitude in his home of 3 women, 3 strong. And he's like, I raised these strong daughters. I have this strong wife, and I'm all the man needed in his house. You know, we
That's
love
it.
that from the beginning. So yeah.
Uh,
So that's
you
kind of how
didn't.
I got started.
That's so good, Amber. Yes. So you remembered, for years, people would say, "Are you trying for the boy?" Or, um, the negative thoughts or the negative placement out of the heart. The mouth speaks, and what you just said was so good. And you remembered what Kevin said, because people would always say, "Oh, you got 3 daughters," like it was a bad thing. And it's been so beautiful. We love it. We love having 3
Absolutely.
daughters. And so some man who also had daughters said to Kevin one day exactly what you said, Amber. He said, "That means there was enough man in your house." And we just thought it was so beautiful, because we have to be careful with our words, people. And so, a lot of entrepreneurs, Amber, they it's all this hustle culture and so forth of 10x results, 10x of this, and secretly, though, they're just doing this performance driven thing, and they actually internally feel unworthy, possibly disconnected, isolated. And I would say a lot of men feel that way because they try to do life on their own. So, how do you help people in your business out of striving and into that frequency of love that you talk so much about?
This is a wonderful question. Thank you so much, because this really speaks to the heart of what we do. And the heart of what we do is we heal hearts. One day, my husband and I, we were in the garden at our home at the time, and it was dusk, and we were giving ourselves a chat with the Lord. He would come in the cool of the evening and talk with Adam and Eve, and we were kind of doing our own version of that. And I think we were having it was another one of those periods where you're seeking the Lord very diligently, because we were wondering if He wanted us to move to where we are now. It was a bigger property, a bigger acreage. It was an expansion, and with expansion there are expanded costs and so on. And so there we were in the garden together and encountering the Lord, and He showed us a tree, a beautiful tree, maybe looking like an apple tree. And we're like, oh, what beautiful apples, kind of thing. And He's like, look again. And when we looked closer, there were hearts on the tree. And we understood that we were to grow a heart tree and nurture hearts. So what we really do is we heal hearts. We heal hearts of wounds. Well, we really facilitate God's healing journey for hearts. And we are equal opportunity wrinkle removers, nut untanglers, and all of these issues we do in the heart. And we talked about people striving and being performance driven and so on. If that heart is broken, James says that the double-minded man cannot receive anything from the Lord. And I used to think that anybody who has changed their mind all the time, they wouldn't get nothing from God. Well, actually, I've come to learn that what that really means is to have two hearts: a broken heart, a divided heart, a shattered heart. And so many people have had experiences where they will say, and when that happened, speaking of a trauma, which we do a lot of that, a lot of trauma release, a lot of healing, they will say, and my heart shattered into a million pieces. And that's literally what happens. And so we're then operating from a place where heaven is pouring into a shattered, fragmented heart. And you see the liquid gold that God is pouring, this shattered heart, out of which all the issues of life come or are held, everything flows through. We're unable to retain, receive sometimes, much less retain anything if the heart is fractured, broken, or shattered. And so our job is to make the heart whole. No longer have a divided heart, a segmented heart, a fractured heart, but a whole, healthy heart. And then you're able to receive and retain and restore and run with your full destiny.
Man, so good, Amber. So good. Because if you operate from that broken place or that broken heart that's not healed, it bleeds all over everyone. And so it's beautiful that you can be the heart doctor, the
Absolutely.
cardiologist for what you do. That's incredible, because it also comes from a spiritual place, not just that physical place of, yeah, my heart's been broken, and operating from that place. So I love that so much.
And not to stay stuck in that position. That's the big from a man's viewpoint. It's very, very important for us to just put down the spirit of pride and really open our heart to that. So ask me how I know. So, well, Amber, you and your husband are all about equipping families for both health and wealth, not just one or the other. What is one practical shift our audience can make today to start experiencing the true abundance in both health and wealth?
Okay, great question. I would say start with the heart, and from there align everything else. So one of the things that we ask people to do when they first come to us is to do a 4-pillar assessment. It's really easy. And everybody to just think in their minds as you're listening now, think of your life in 4 major pillars: fitness, finance, family, and fulfillment. And for each of those, give yourself a score out of 10. Just that alone begins to give you a simple picture of how you can assess your life. Whichever way you define it, whichever way, just take a print today. Fitness, finance, family, fulfillment. And then just sit with the Lord and ask Him to give you a strategy for the one that work on the one that has the lowest score first. Ask Him to give you one strategy for that lowest one. And then spend 5 to 15 minutes implementing that strategy every day for 1 week. At the end of 1 week, take a snapshot again. And you would find that not just that pillar, but all the other pillars have, if not moved up a notch, you feel as though, I had a 5 point last week, but now I feel like I have a 5.2 in the other pillars that you're not working on. And the one that you are working on, sometimes these pillars may be quite low. That one, you're up there, you're doing okay in 3 of them. But one of them, it might be family. One of them, it might be finance. One of them, it might be fitness. You're doing, it's not so good at all. But although you don't move a full step up in that one, just working on it with a strategy from heaven. 7 days, 5 minutes. You'd find that you'd see an uptick in all the others.
I love that. I love when our listeners have practical tips. Even, just you saying that right now, all of that was flowing in each of those pillars.
Yes.
And, to wake up and to learn and to grow always till we get to the other side, till we get to heaven. We are constantly called to grow in relationship, health, wealth, relationships, right?
Yeah, because what doesn't grow will die.
It's so good. What doesn't grow will die. And, everybody's, water the ground that you're in, not looking at somebody else's. Water the grass that's underneath your feet so it does not die. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do a quick lightning round. We do sometimes with some guests. What is the biggest myth about love or destiny that you want to bust for every Conquer Club listening right now? What's a myth out there that the world says, but you're like, no, that's not true?
Yeah, they say that you have to accept your fate. And I say, heaven no. Take your destiny. And so my fate would have been, I came from a very humble home on an island in the Caribbean. And the way that script was written, I'd stay there for all of my life. And that was not my destiny. Like, if you meet me, I'm a larger than life personality. Ask my husband. and
we can tell, Amber.
Yeah, it's all housed in all of this chocolate, and it's sprinkled with glitter and laughter. Okay, that's me.
Beautiful.
In a nutshell. All right.
Absolutely.
Now, I could simply accept the script that life has given me. Guys, we walked to school and it was miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. So my husband said, baby, we walked to school too. And he said, it was like 1 to 3 miles. I said, no problem. And then we went to Trinidad and we drove from where we lived to where we went to school. And he said, you walk this every day? It's like a 1 hour journey by car. And we walked it, no, I'm lying, about 40 minutes by car. And we walked that every day. And he was like, oh, it is so different. If I'm accepting my fate, I think I'm too small. I'm just a chocolate girl from the islands. But if I seize my destiny, I hear what heaven says about me. And I bring everything into alignment with that. And it's not enough to only hear what heaven says. You also have to have this strategy from heaven. What heaven says with an earthly strategy equals frustration, struggle, striving. But what God says with a strategy from heaven is unique, fresh air, avant-garde, just fun, different. A different kind of hard maybe, but choose your hard. And with heaven, you can choose a hard that is enjoyable, that moves you further and further along God's destiny plan for you. That'll be my biggest thing.
So powerful. Are you and your spouse building a business? You're craving a deeper connection. You want to step away from the hustle world. But what if your business wasn't just successful, but actually sacred?
Join us this fall for Couples in the Castle, where luxury meets leadership
and legacy, ready to reset, realign, and step into their royal identity.
Apply now at conquerpreneur.com/castle. There are limited spots available. So powerful, Amber. You're exactly right. People are like, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And when you understand the kingdom of God, and if you don't, we'll talk to you. Amber, talk to you. There's a way, like you said, it doesn't mean that stuff's not going to come against you. It absolutely does. But you respond strategically of how heaven responds, because that is where you are a citizen, but you're living in this earth. So I love that. So powerful. Very powerful.
I really think that goes with your ERO, Tanya, that you share all the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Event response outcome for those of you listening. What is the event? How are you responding to that event will equal the outcome that you have. So if you're an event that's hard and you respond the world's way, your outcome will be the world's way. If you have an event and you respond God's way, and listen, who's fallen that's listening? Who hasn't responded right? Because it's gotten something in you that you did a knee-jerk reaction in the world's way. And how is that outcome? It doesn't mean you live in shame of that. You just do better the next time because you know that you can respond differently. So that's what ERO is. But Kev, I know you wanted to ask her.
Yeah, so I want to pivot, shift a little bit. Let's talk about Heart Spa. Framework sounds intriguing. How does heart work create tangible shifts in someone's business, family, or their legacy?
Oh, God. You guys have all the great, really good questions. Thanks so much for the question. So the Heart Spa is a conflagration of a number of inner healing methodologies that I have studied, received, some from heaven directly, over the years. And we use them. It's really like when you go to a doctor's office, everybody does not get the same pill because the root of your problem may be very different. So let's say a lady comes in with a major insecurity, doesn't know how to set boundaries. And when we get to the root of it, many of the roots are in childhood. There's a mother wound. Well, that's very different from a similar lady who comes in and has a father wound, has no sense of worth and identity. Very, very different treatment. And so the Heart Spa is like a spa you go in for your heart. And so just like you go into a lady spa and they do a mani-pedi and they'll do a facial and a massage and all of that, it's a place where your heart comes to be healed. And because it's heaven forward, it's heaven facing, it's very gentle. Very gentle because Jesus is. Now, when we come out of Heart Spa and we're doing the destiny strategies, we may need to be a little more strategic, a little more, no, we kind of have to set this in stone, so you have to make a decision. But making decisions are so much easier when you can see what heaven has seen and when you've heard what heaven has said, that it really makes decision making not so much of a struggle and I don't know what to do. You have a clear impression of where you're supposed to go because you can't unsee what you have seen.
Yeah. So some of our listeners maybe have never heard of, what do you mean you hear from heaven, Amber? What does that mean? That I would say that's one of the larger questions that we've had from people is like, oh, I hear you talking about heaven, or I hear you say God says. What does that look like practically? I know you said the word impression. Can you go a little bit deeper on that?
Yeah, can I have 2 minutes to give them an experience?
Sure. Let's do it.
Then I want everybody to just imagine with me for a moment. Just imagine that you are walking through a woods. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny. There's a slight wind. The sunshine is dappled. It's not too hot. It's not cold. And the breeze is pleasant. And you're walking on this path. It's you alone. And you're just enjoying nature. Imagine the sights. The leaves, the sound, the crunching under feet. Warm above, but cool beneath. And there's just that dank smell of earthiness, you know. And you're walking through And as you're walking, you sense a whoosh pass by you. And as you sense this whoosh, you realize that this is a lion. It's a lion that you know. It's a friendly lion. And you realize that you and the lion are playing hide and seek. And he goes to hide and so it's your turn to seek. So you're looking for the lion, and you're giggling because you and this lion have played this game before. It's a friendly lion, you're enjoying the game, and you see him just ahead, like hide behind a little thicket, and you're going to catch him. You're going to pounce on the lion, and just when you reach the thicket, it's like he isn't there, and out of nowhere, this lion, he pounces on you, and you're giggling, and you're playing with the lion, almost like you would a dog, and you're rolling in the dry leaves. You're rolling, having a wonderful time, and he rolls you into a room in your past. What room are you in? And in that room, what is the lion wanting you to face and to deal with? And just take everything in. How old are you in this room? What was the issue? Yeah, and I'm going really fast. We give time for you to flesh these things out. What is going on? Okay, good. So you have that. Now if you have to pause the recording here, do that to really flesh it out. Now you went through that without the lion. Now that the lion is there, what does he want you to know about his presence with you? He brought you here for a reason. Why did he bring you here? What does he want you to know about his presence with you in this room at this time? And here's a space for a big conversation between you and the lion. Let the younger you, often a child, sometimes a teen, sometimes a young adult, tell the lion everything. Here's where we do what we call a trauma release. Everything that hurt, everything that disappointed, everything that, just give it to the lion. What does it look like that you're giving? Some people say heavy stones, black rope, black smoke, a heavy coat, a heaviness, dirty water, a heavy cloud, whatever it is. Books, files, a snake. We've heard all sorts. Just continue. We call that releasing all of that to the lion. What does he do with it? See the lion dealing with that for you. And then pause if you have to. Pause the recording if you have to. Then ask the lion to give you a gift or something in return. And I always hear the lion will give a gift, usually something very specific to you. And I would also ask him to infill you with his love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. All of the frequencies of heaven. I would also usually ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, counsel and might, the fear of the Lord and the Spirit of the Lord. For all of them to now infuse the younger you in that room and the older you witnessing too. And pause if you have to let that happen. And then I'll invite you to come back and sit with me. And I'll usually count you out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now that's a lightning speed example of what we will take half an hour to do.
Yeah.
When you met that lion, I didn't tell you that that lion is Jesus. You just met a lion, as far as you know. What you and the lion discussed, I have no idea. That's between you and the friendly lion. The typology of the lion is usually Yeshua. And how he appears to you is how he appears to you. We would then sit with what he discussed with you. Sometimes, especially with males, That is so private and so that they don't always have to tell me what that is. But we could work with what God has shown you to build out the rest of your future. It usually answers something that you're needing in the now. So that is how when we say see from heaven, hear from heaven, that's one example. And this is the lowest hanging fruit. This is not where we go into mother wounds, father wounds. This is just a general random thing where I set up the divine encounter. We call that one the lion in the woods. But there are many other types of things like that we do that are a lot more intricate. We go to very, very tender places. And so I get the honor daily of introducing baby parts, 5-year-old parts, 8-year-old parts, who may not have known the Lord or who may not have experienced Him accurately, to see Him and experience Him, sometimes for the first time, sometimes in a brand new way.
Can we just bring the
Wow.
applause in here?
Yes.
Because for those of you listening right now, we have done similar work, such as Amber described, and it is powerful, full of His power. And that exercise, as Dr. Amber said, stop your recording and do it all in. And when you walk through with Amber in an exercise, like she said, this is just low hanging fruit. I mean, that's just one. So imagine the depth that can be restored. God is a God of restoration that can be restored in you, the frequencies of heaven that then will attract that person in your life. That's so, the word I use is brutal a lot. It is brutal, melted with beautiful all together. But what comes out of that is beautiful, beautiful, beauty from ashes. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that exercise. That's like priceless right there.
I don't say I'm gonna bring in the word priceless as well. I'm gonna say that it's so powerful because it's first of all, it helps you identify what the world, the root cause of your feelings or emotions towards a specific topic that arises in your life. It's like, why do I feel this way at this very moment? But it was really something that you experienced 25, 30 years ago. But being in that example of being with a lion, or I love how you said that actually is Jesus, then you can really get that gosh darn root. Don't just spray it and let it go down. Get the root out of there and be free of it. And when we're free of it, then we can be all that God did build us to be. So thank you so much, Dr. Amber, for sharing that. That was fantastic.
So good. Yes.
Most
Yes,
welcome,
yes.
most welcome, guys.
Yeah. Kev, I know you wanted to ask her about we have one more question and then we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. But this question, I know you wanted to ask about her Conquer story.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, every single episode we do like to ask, what have you conquered? Maybe a moment, maybe a reinvention that became the catalyst for your mission and the message that you're sharing with our listeners today. What was that conquer story moment?
Oh my. I think it's hard. Sorry, I think it's hard to pinpoint one. But the culminating story of my life is you don't have to believe the lie. You don't have to believe the script. But the story that you believe, that's a story that you will have. And so in my life, there have been a number of stories that I have said, no, you are a lie, and I will have a different outcome. So I had my first baby at 43. And I think that would probably be the one that I would like to highlight. And everybody, including my doctors, the like advanced matriarchal age, like you're really geriatric when you're having a baby in your 40s. And I had to remind them, no. Every time I came in before pregnancy, you said my body presented like a 25-year-old. So let us apply that to this. I am a 25-year-old. And so you can have, we say this all the time in our world, you can have everything in life and destiny as long as you have the strategy. And I think
Mm.
that was one of the pivotal moments for me. Getting married was one, having my baby was another. And then maybe seeing those principles being taught to others and them applying them and seeing rapid results. I met and married my husband in 6 months, but we have people who met and were proposed to in 17 days, um,
Mm.
following our strategy. So we've seen
Wow.
acceleration doing
Mm.
it our way. We've seen promotions, job increases, pay increases, salary increases, shifts from one department to the other, all
Mm.
kinds of healings. We don't really talk about the diseases that we've seen using our modalities that the Lord,
Download.
and one day the Lord will give release to do that, but today is not that day. But I
Yeah.
can say that we have seen miracles. And it's a different way that the Lord will work from healing the heart, that even the body. And so there's something that's specific we do called an alignment, where it's spirit, soul, body. And well, there's 7 parts, not just those 3. There are others that
Yeah.
we align all of them. And who knew that one of the effects of that would be physical healing? We
Mm.
and the clients, all of our jaws dropped because
Wow.
we went in for inner healing and came out with physical healing as
Yeah.
well.
Oh man. Woo! What a true joy, Amber Joy. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Yes.
And I know Kev too. And so, oh, we're losing you, Amber. So many things resonated. We've lost Amber's picture here, but we're wrapping it up. Oh, there she is. Okay. So this truly from the bottom of our hearts, I know that somebody who is listening to this right now is blessed in so many ways. This was packed with strategies, practical tips, honesty, some maybe some much needed heart checks for some people or heart work just in that little sliver of time. So, if you are ready to stop striving and go from single to soulmate, you are definitely going to want to check out Dr. Amber's work. We'll have all of her links, all of her master classes, all the things that she briefly talked about in all of our show notes so that you can go deeper with Amber. She has, I mean, clearly incredible stories.
Well, we do want to thank you all for tuning into this, the Conquer Club podcast. And if you are married, you are a married entrepreneur, a couple ready for divine reset, you are invited to join us this fall in Scotland for Couples in the Castle, our exclusive 5-star mastermind experience to help you align, recalibrate, and rise into your next season together.
Yes. And if today's episode again with Amber brought you clarity or conviction, share it with somebody. Maybe you know somebody who's single and ready to mingle. Maybe they've been divorced and they feel that they don't have any hope, like Amber talked about, or maybe they're wanting that child, wanting that baby. Don't let anybody tell you the world's way. Amber not only has talked about it, but has proven that there is a different strategy. So share this with somebody you love who's building not only their faith, but also purpose, business, family, legacy. And don't forget to subscribe to the Conquer Club podcast if you want a breakthrough.
Mm.
If you want to connect with Dr. Amber Joy and join her Single to Soulmate Masterclass, head to her. We're going to put this in the show notes, but singles2soulmatechallenge.com, or follow her at Daniel Amber Joy and the Transilience channel.
Is that right? I want to make sure all that's correct information. Is that right, Dr. Amber?
I hope so.
Okay. I just
The
want to make
email
sure you
is
know.
correct. The single to soulmate is correct.
Okay, very good, very good. Well, like we like to end all of our podcasts like this.
Peace in.
Peace out.
Kevin
and Tanya Stout. So how many of you are ready to conquer your business, your income, and your life? Hit subscribe and join the Conquer Club, and let's start winning together.
Peace in.
Peace out.
Kevin and Tanya Stout.